Okay, so this is a guide video on how to beat this. Now, this gameplay in the background is pre-recorded, so just have a lot of fun. What we're going to be doing is taking a look at, the stats of each character. Of course, I'm going to have screenshots and, evidence and data all over the screen. Well, not really all over the screen, just on the right or on the left. And I'm just going to be talking about the difficulties of this event and how you beat the event, right? Now, this is not necessarily saying you have to use this exact team. This is just a guidebook to winning in this event, right? So this first phase right here, this guy, his name is Hei Shinron. This guy has 60 million HP, and that's pretty much like the benchmark for all fights at this point. Like if you're going against a multiple phase event, they pretty much start around the 50 million HP mark. His normals are pretty pathetic, 650,000 per normal. That's something that you can easily work with. This is a fight to where, okay, they obviously want you to build, right? The boss rush, first, before I break down the fight, let me break down the boss rush. So fight by fight, phase by phase, right? Usually boss rushes have at least 7 to 8 fights or characters that you end up fighting, because boss rush is the culmination of the previous red zone event, right? Now, we do actually have a boss rush event, right? I guess we didn't even really get to talk about Hei Shinron too much, but we'll talk about him here. But long story short, right? You just go against a bunch of enemies, and all of these enemies have different effects and values and numbers, right? But the first phase is typically always weak and easy. He was hitting for 1.6 million on his super, though. But we don't really have to go over him anymore. Raid Shinron is a different story, right? Raid Shinron actually has 30 million HP, but the reason why he has little to no HP is because this guy, he nullifies Ki Blast supers, right? So if you super him with a Ki Blast super, which you're gonna see with the 18, well, the Goku's 18 Ki here, does he actually Ki Blast super or not? We get stunned anyways, right? Or do we dodge? Yeah, we get stunned. So in the super attack, you can see he stuns, right? This guy has raised his defense by 100%, which is crazy. No, 30%, but he 100% chance to stun, right? I don't know why they. Okay, that's now that I'm reading that, that's actually interesting. Yeah, you can debuff this guy. You can debuff this guy. You can seal this guy. You can defensively lower this guy. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to that in this event. But oh no, okay, on the site it says you can debuff, but in the game as I'm looking at it, it's saying that we can't debuff. That's interesting. Let me see one more time. Yeah, look at the top right. It says I can't debuff in the game, but here on the Dokkan, like on the Dokkan homepage, it says that we can. That's interesting. So obviously we can't, because in game, as you can see, you can't debuff, but here it says you can. I don't know why it says that, but it is what it is. This guy's hitting for 1.5 million. This is another pretty pathetic weak enemy. It's just he could be a bit annoying if you have a bunch of Ki Blast super units on your team, so watch out for that. If you have like a full team where just Ki Blast users, you're not going to be able to beat this event. So you do have to bring, different types of super effects, right? Either ones including weapons or Ki Blast supers. Or, I guess one way you can, if you're bringing Ki Blast super units, is as long as they can, dodge. Not dodge, counter with their attack. I guess they can get off some damage, so it's not all in vain, right? I guess I'll speed up the process. We're almost finished with this phase, yeah. Like I said, this is a pre-recorded fight. I did this last night at around 11:30, right? And this was like the perfect run. Like after doing this run, I'm like, dude, this is like the perfect run. And I already had in mind, since I wasn't like talking then, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, like, if we win, I'm just gonna make a video and a guide on how to beat these guys, right? Because this GT boss fight is this is harder than any red zone fight in the game, right? Like Blue Goku doesn't serve as much of a challenge as this guy, but this run makes it look easy as pie, right? With all these powerful broken ass units, right? We ended up coming in here slapping this guy. We almost did lose in the end though. We barely, like, dude, he hits so fucking hard. But all right, now we're on Oceana Shinron, right? She has 42 million HP. Her normals are pretty weak, right? Only, 600% attack per normal, which is not that crazy. I think the annoying thing about these guys, which you have to understand, is they all have stunning to ceiling effects, or they all have some type of effect, and they're guaranteed to super attack in slot 1. All right. Every time I've played this event so far, the first 4 phases, they all super attack in slot 1. Nova and Ice Shinron super in slot 1 often lot 2 though. Like Nova Shinron, he damn near supers in slot 1 all the time, right? But Ice Shinron, sometimes he doesn't super in slot 1, which is different. But that's phase 5, right? Still got like a couple of more phases. Wait, actually, no, this is phase 3, and then next phase is 4, and then next is 5, and then we get to Nova. Right. Her super attack is doing 1.6 million. Again, it's not that hard hitting, but it's to stop you from making any progress, like with stacking your characters or building your characters up. That's the point of these first couple of phases. But she's pretty pathetic as well. So we have Super Nataron Shinron. I probably said that so wrong. Is it Natron? Nataron? Nurtron? Dude, someone in the dude, you gotta pronunciate it. You gotta like break down the syllables for me, bro. Like, cause you can't like voice it, image it. Like, I can't hear someone else say his name, but maybe I'll just look it up on Google or something like that. But yeah, this guy has a bit more HP. This is where the event takes a turn, because this guy has a 2.5 million super, right? And he lowers enemy, well, we're his enemy, but he lowers our allies by 20%, which sucks. This guy doesn't have any super attack effect, which I like. Finally, this 4th phase, he doesn't actually have a super attack effect, like stunning or shielding. If it hits, it doesn't mean anything. You could put Trunks and Vegeta in slot 1 finally. That character, like, Trunks and Vegeta, for them being slot 1 coverage, like, for the first couple of phases, I put them in slot 2 to get rid of the debuffs and seals and stuns and stuff like that. But this guy is pretty easy as well. The fight doesn't really pick up in hardness and difficulty until you get the Ice Shinron, right? Once you get the Ice Shinron, shit gets hectic. But then you get the Sin, and stuff just gets nightmarish, right? Same with Omega Shinron. Shinron and Omega Shinron, like, they're both strong. I give the hat to Omega, obviously, because on top of his hard-hitting super and his crazy debuff, you can't dodge him, right? You can still counter him, which is cool, though. But this phase isn't anything crazy, right? The ideal with this event is to bring, a couple of stacking characters, stack up with your units, get your units built up, so when they finally get against the tough guys, they'll be ready to deal with it. One thing you're not going to want to do, like, you're going to see some in the gameplay of mine, like, sometimes I literally hold back. You're going to see me, once we get to Nova and Ice, I'm going to deliberately, like, hold back, right? So we can prioritize stacking defensively, so I know we can get through the hard-hitting 6 million super that Sin is doing with the crazy 40% debuff. Or, the Int Omega with the 7 million super with a 40% lowering of your defense. Like, Sin has AoEs as well, I think, right? Like, these, it's all easy right now. And it's pretty manageable right now. But I've had deaths starting from here, right? Once you get to this point, this is where deaths can start flying in casually, right? Because 2.6 million super, he's greatly raising attack for 1 turn. So that's around the 3.3 million mark. This guy has a 3 cooldown, by the way. And reduces damage received from all types except for SGR type. So this guy has, even though he's a physical type, right? The only one weakness he's really going to see is from the STR typing. Right, so that means the AGL, Super Gogeta, right, or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta right here, he's not gonna actually do too much, right? He's not gonna do as much damage as Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta, even though his attack stat might be higher, right? This is a positive negative, and what I mean by a positive negative is this gives all your other units a chance to breathe, right? All your other units a chance to actually get some stacks in. Like for an example, this would probably typically kill, right? But since he's not STR and he's not doing a lot of damage, even though he's super effective, does he get a crit? He does get a crit. We still don't take, a full HP bar. So we get to get like a couple of additional supers in right here. We get to, sneak in some extra additionals right here and stacks with this character. So like I said, it's a positive negative, right? This guy's pretty weak, albeit though. This guy's not anything crazy. He's not like some strong fucking boss, right? You're gonna get through him pretty nice and easily, but you can get caught off guard with that 3.3 million super if everything's not aligned, right? Like maybe you're running a support unit in this fight, right? We don't have any. We're running pretty strong units, but let's say you decided to run like STR Trunks or, you know, Pan, and, you know, they're locked or they're sealed and they can't super first and they get supered by Nova Shinron. That it's gonna hit pretty hard, right? Even though they're pretty good defensively, right? Now we move on to Ice Shinron, and Ice Shinron is definitely in a different bracket than Nova, right? He's got 208 million HP, which is a step above 70 million HP. This guy has a 1.3 normal, right? This guy's hitting for 3.8 million on his super, and he lowers defense by 40%, just like his friend Shinron and Omega Shinron, right? So that 3.8 million super is misleading as hell. That's more like a, I don't know, 5 million super, you start of turn. And this is why you want to prioritize Vegeta, right? I know a lot of people are talking about Super Vegito. He definitely did fall off. He's clearly just not as good as he once was. Now, you could talk about, you know, his performance in Red Zone, but Vegito, he's not the all-star unit. You definitely want to prioritize Vegeta in this moment in the meta. Just pop his Patara, make sure in slot 2 or 3 he can get things done as well. I mean, if you could afford to put him in slot 1, you could do that, right? Ice Shinron can actually super twice, by the way, so let that sink in. This guy is disabling dodge as well, and he 100% locks a character. So this is where you start to, like I said, you're going to start to regularly see deaths. Especially if you don't want to transform like the LR gods, or you want to greed out some stacks with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta like I did. I made a video and it ended up being a nightmare. It was literally, I think, my last upload actually. And physical LR EZA Gogeta, I was trying to greed out stacks with him, but in the process, I kept getting super by this guy. And even though we had guard type effective, you know, some damage reduction, we were still getting hit too hard by this Ice Shinron, bro. After he supered, right? He got hit for 900,000, bro, and we had to restart the run, right? So that just tells you that Ice Shinron, like that 3.8 million super is misleading because of that 40% defensive debuff, right? And you can't dodge this guy. So, and he locks, right? And he locks, bro. This guy has some effects. You can't debuff him, of course. You can't seal him. You can't stun him. The typical effects. Once you get to this Ice Shinron, shit really does start to pick up, right? But as long as you're playing smart, and as long as you're doing what you need to do, like right here, I just packed it up. Like, I already knew, like, bro, let me just transform into Gogeta right here, because if I don't, I'm going to end up losing, right? If I don't end up transforming with this guy, and let's say I try and greed out some stacks, and he supers in slot 1 and in slot 3, I'm cooked. So I just played it by the book. I know if I transform with Gogeta right here, I mean, I'm guaranteed safety, right? This is probably how you want, once you get to Ice, bro, you just want to transform. If you're bringing the gods, it's just trying to transform this guy. If you're bringing the GT, if you're bringing this EZA Gogeta, just transform him when you get the Ice, bro. Trust me, bro. Like, trying to greed out stacks, it's just not worth it, because if he gets supered, he's dying. But this is 100%, 220% lead Gogeta. Max links 100%, and he died 900k against this guy. And it was after he supered. It wasn't like I put him in slot 1, right? It was like after 8 or 9 stacks, and he still took 900k. Like, this is a misleading boss right here. You will die against this guy. If you come into this event often, you're going to start seeing deaths here, right? So just be prepared for that. It's not a big deal, though. As long as, like I said, as long as you're playing smart with the units you have, just making sure you're putting your defensively valuable units in that slot 1. I think Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta is probably just a step above every character in the game. Like, after like using him here and after using him in all these other events, I'm starting to realize Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta might just outright just be the best unit in the game. Like, Gogeta stocks are high, but Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta, just the way that they work and the way that they can just come into any event and pretty much just do whatever they want, right? They have a active where they have guard. Then they have another active where they can just dodge, right? Which is dodge the immunity bosses, right? I decided to put my faith in Trunks and Vegeta here. We'll talk about Sin Shenron in a second, but I'll just give you the loadout. At this point, right, once you get the Sin Shenron, his normals are hitting for 2.3 million. This guy, his super is 6.6 million with a 40% debuff. If they do not have guard and damage reduction, they will die. It doesn't matter who it is. if the character doesn't have high damage reduction in guard, your unit will die. Gogeta, a unit who just came out, took 800,000. Well, it was Omega Shenron. But look at this. Trunks and Vegeta. 630,000. And we've been stacking with this guy the entire video. Think about that. We still have one more phase, by the way. Just moment of silence for that. How in the hell is Sin able to do that? Who thought that was smart? This is the newest premium LR in the game. And he barely lived that. We were a couple of stacks off. We died there. We got sealed a couple of more times throughout this event. We died there. We put Vegeta in slot 1. We died there. We put Gogeta in slot 1 right there. We probably would live. Because like I said, we lived putting AGO Gogeta in slot 1 versus Int Omega. But we lived with 50,000 HP. The new AGO Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, active skill and all, we barely live. Barely, just barely, we barely live. This is how hard these guys hit, right? This Sin Shenron, he is a healer, so he does heal himself. He's a bit of a stall god, right? He's not like super annoying like Ice. He's not locking anybody. He's just the usual, dickhead. Just casually throwing around a huge super that debuffs you. But other than that, he's like hitting his normals hit pretty hard, right? 2.3 million on a normal is pretty insane. But at this point, right, we only have defensive juggernauts, right? Every unit on this team I made sure was able to tank except for Vegito Blue. Right, Vegito Blue, the super easy Vegito Blue is here for the final phase, so that's why I've been sort of ducking him and using him in that slot 3 position. Because if you notice, like, if you've been watching any of the GT Bosses content from any content creator, you'll realize and understand most of these guys, what they'll do, most of these bosses, they'll just super you in slot 1 or in slot 2. Like, you don't really, I don't know if they're, here they're not set, right? It's not showing me that they're set, but it seems as if there are, right? It seems as if they're sort of set, and the reason why I'm thinking that is because there's just no way each time I come into this boss, it works just like this. The first couple of phases, they all super in slot 1. Then you get the Ice Shenron. It's like a coin toss. You don't really know. He's not like, he's the one character that doesn't always super in slot 1, right? Like Ice Shenron might decide to super in slot 2 for like a 50% chance. It's unusual. Then you go to Sin Shenron and it's back to slot 1 merchant. He's supering you immediately, right? Sin Shenron, he supers you immediately. He doesn't give a fuck. The cooldown is non-existent, right? He has a 0 cooldown, as a matter. Yeah, he literally, right, yeah, it says right here. He literally has a zero cooldown. It doesn't matter. He supers once, he can super you immediately next turn. That's how he works. Does he do it here? No, he doesn't. Okay, he spared us. That was actually a risky play. Now that I'm looking back at it, did I put Vegeta in slot? Yeah, I put Vegeta in slot. And we had max HP, though. That means I just had I'm very confident in this character. Right, I am very confident in this character. That's really what it was. It wasn't like false confident. I am very confident in this Vegeta and Goku unit. I think they did their absolute best job with this character. They made sure to perform. So I had no problems throwing Vegeta in slot 1. Actually, when I was doing this run, that was a conscious decision to put Vegeta in slot 1. I think we would actually live the super. We definitely wouldn't eat it as good if we put Goku in that scenario, right? The blue Goku. Right, but I wanted to get rid of the guy, right? Now, this guy, this is where I realized I sort of made a mistake. Because it was like, oh shit, this guy has dodge canceling, right? I sort of forgot about that, and I'm like, Vegito Blue, the reason why I was thinking he would be a good run, not only is he type avenged, but he'd have a 50% chance to just outright dodge the super. But now I was at a crossroads, right? I'm like, all right, well, I understand that these Omega Shenrons, they typically like to super in slot 1, so I risked it. Well, not really risked it, but I'm like, all right, I'll just throw Trunks and Vegeta in slot 1 because I know he can handle the super even in slot 1, right? As you see right here, we're going to sit here. We're going to eat this for like, what, 400 something K? Yeah, 400K we ate this for, right? This is a premium Dokkan Fest unit, right? That is a 7 million super with a 40% debuff, and he didn't even super. This is a premium unit. This Trunks and Vegeta is a tier above, right? This guy is on the same tier as Goku and Vegeta, in my opinion, right? He's sharing that same position as Goku and Vegeta. He honestly might be even a bit further. The only thing that's holding me back for keeping him in like above Goku and Vegeta is the fact that he is definitely, his leader skill, and you definitely feel the effects of running double lead Vegeta and Trunks, right? It works, but the HP amount, you can definitely feel it, right? Here, max HP, we have something like 880,000 HP, right? I haven't really been paying attention to the HP bar, but like we have HP, like we have so much, right? And the thing is, right, with this in Omega is like this guy, he's just a buffed up version of Sin, right? Basically what they did was like, all right, how do we get an extra phase in here? All right, we buff his super attack. We keep the defensive debuff of 40%, which is a defensively debuffing you by 40% is ridiculous, right? With a 7 million super, that's insane, right? His normals are hitting for 2.5 million, but here's the kicker. You can't dodge him like you can dodge Sin, right? And each turn, he randomly changes all key spheres, right? Which is crazy. His AoE, his first AoE that he does in the fight, which is his first turn, does 2.5 million damage throughout to the whole turn as well. So he has a 2.5 million AoE normal. And then this second AoE that he does, it's reduced by 50%. So it's only 1.2 million. So this AoE isn't as scary as the first AoE, right? We don't kill him here. No. We don't. Yeah, we still have a ways to go. We're gonna we ended up popping the active skills right here because I'm refreshing my memory with this fight as well because I did do this yesterday night. It is currently like it's 7:19 in the morning right now. I'm a true grinder. We're doing this Dokkan grind, man. Yeah, what did I end? I think I ended up just leaving the turn like this. Did I keep Gogeta on rotation and rotate Vegeta off? I think that was the smart play. Yeah, I think what I ended up doing was active skilling with this Gogeta right here, putting him in slot 2 and keeping the rotation as Blue Goku in slot 1 and this Gogeta in slot 2. I just thought it would give us the best chance of survival because it's like, okay, at the same time as winning good offenses and defenses, Gogeta, his damage output is just a lot, right? Especially on his active skill turn. So I wanted to maximize that, and on top of that, I wanted to maximize Vegeta's output and damage. So I think I kept his ass in slot 3. Isn't that the play? That's just the smartest thing to do, right? You're telling me I rotated Gogeta off? Huh. I rotated Gogeta off. Huh. I mean, do we get hit by the super here? We do. Actually, it's a good thing that we kept them Link, actually. I mean, yeah. I mean, 80, yeah, like, we weren't going to die anyways. This is why he's the best character. I mean, is it not just like, yeah, he's the best character in the game? AGL Gogeta in that same position took 800k. Super Saiyan 4 Goku's dying in that position. Everyone's favorite Easy 8 Gogeta, if he doesn't counter, he's dying in that position. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is dying. The Easy A physical Gogeta, he's dying in that position if he doesn't counter. There's a lot of units in that position that's dying if they don't eat that. Rose would actually be perfectly fine. Rose and Blue Goku would eat that shit like it's dog food, right? Like we literally just saw dog food. It doesn't even... LR Trunks and Vegeta took it for 400k. Goku and Vegeta ate that shit for breakfast. This is what I mean by they're just a step above, right? Like... in every aspect, in every way, Vegeta and Goku is just the best, right? Vegeta, Tech Vegeta with his Power Pop in slot 1, he's not eating it for 80k. He's still taking 300 to 400k minimum. So that just goes to show you, like, there's a specific way they definitely want you to play this event right now. And you know, if you're not putting your unit who has a chance to just outright tank in slot 1. What you want to do is put a unit who could tank the normals and counter him in slot 1. Because remember, this is the second turn, and guess what? He's supered in slot 2 again. I mean, in slot 1 again. He's a slot 1 merchant. These guys are slot 1. They want to kill you before you can do anything. That's the way this is working. So if you thought you were going to just sit around silly and pop your Super Vegeta active skill, Super Vegeta's gonna fuck around and die. Right? 40% debuff, type disadvantage. Doesn't matter about his guard and damage reduction. He's gonna get hit, penetrated through that with the 40% debuff. He's dying. Super Vegito, 100% Rainbow Star, active skill Super Vegito. He's dying to Omega Shenron Super. Yeah, I'm confident in that. Super Vegito's dying to that. Not Potara Smash Crushed Vegeta, but Super Vegito's getting his ass cucked. He's getting hit for like 2 million. Yeah, try that shit out. Try active skilling Super Vegito against N Omega. See how that works for you. I want someone to test it. Call my bluff. I want someone to do it. Someone's definitely did it already. One of you who's watching this video, you fucked around and had to find out the hard way. Super Vegito, either he barely fucking you know you're like, he didn't eat it. Like, he didn't eat it for like 100K. He ate that shit for at least 830K. At least Super Vegito must have barely lived, if he did live. But nah, bro. Super Vegito, he died. He's fodder to N Omega, bro. He's getting his ass clapped. Super Vegito's not. He's not what he once was. So, I mean, his reign as the best unit in the game is definitely over with, right? I don't see this guy, you know, top 1 anymore, right? He's still a good unit. He's still amazing defensively as well. Like, if you are thinking about Potara active skill Vegeta, I think he's among the greats, top 5 easily. You're talking about 70% damage reduction, infinite defensive stacking, and any slot. Like, that's top 3 level for certain. Like, if I had to get him in there, like, yeah, we could put Blue Vegeta up there, Blue Vegeta, Blue Goku at number 1. We can go ahead and put Trunks and Vegeta at number 2. We could put AGO Gogeta at number 3, and I could probably put, like, if we're thinking about just all around cards. See, look, he ate that really good in that slot 2 position, right? 300K, right? Like, that's impressive, right? It's not what Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta did, turn 1 slot 1 before even supering, but you know, that's value, right? That's a 7 million super with a 40% debuff. This is how you get through this event, right? You can't Super Vegito your way through this, man. You have to be defensively smart, right? You have to play your cards and chips right, bro. You have to. If you don't, you're gonna lose, right? Now, the reason why I switched the Goku and the Vegeta around is because, well, mine's gonna have the guard still, right? Because I popped the Vegeta active skill last turn. The Vegeta active skill ran out on the Blue Vegeta in slot 2. So just my thinking process was, all right, bet. Since we ran out, let me put my Blue Goku in slot 1 who still has the guard. So even if we do get Super Frame 1 turn 1, which is very likely. Holy shit, he didn't. He actually didn't. Okay, so he did. Was that death? If he Super Frame 1 turn 1, would we have died there? I remember my Goku taking some. Well, of course, my 55% Goku is going to take some damage. How much damage did we actually take from the super? I remember we getting super attacked here, and I was surprised at looking at the number, right? It wasn't like he didn't eat this super well, like as well as I thought he would. How much did he eat this for? Yeah, 220,000. Still better than the Tech Vegeta, by the way. Still better than the guy I was just hyping up, by the way. But he did get hit pretty hard right there, right? Like 55%. That's the difference between a 55% unit and a 100% unit, right? That's the difference right there. You're still going to get hit decently hard, but we live, right? You could just tell they're a step above. My 70, what percentage is that Vegeta? I don't even remember. But my duped up anniversary Vegito versus a 55% blue Goku and Vegeta, and still, he's out tanking him, right? There's just I don't know what they were really thinking when they made this character. I thought they were thinking make him the best unit in the game. That's what they were thinking. I do love this team. This is a strong team. I think if you want to easy win, a team like this is definitely gonna work. You could probably switch out and substitute blue Vegito for someone else of your choosing, of your liking. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, blue Vegito is just such a strong option, because we really honestly got lucky with the slot 1 merchant shit, right? If these guys spread out their super a little bit more, like, we would definitely be in trouble. Like, we don't have a scouter for that turn, right? We don't know where they're supering, right? And then he made it very easy for us. All right, well, I'll just pop the active with Vegeta and Trunks right here. I'll heal up with type orbs, right? Because at this point, Vegeta and Trunks has like 2.5, 2.8, 3 million defense for just stacking all day, right? He's also stacking support, right? So every other unit on the team has been building up with Vegeta and Trunks, right? So, I mean, #1 candidate in this event right now for me even though he might not eat it as well as Goku and Vegeta, just the fact that he's boosting the entire team's morale with just his 18 key super, I think my #1 unit you bring into this event is Vegeta and Trunks. I think probably the second best unit for this event is Goku and Vegeta, the reversible exchange. Gogeta, he's nowhere on the list. So you thought I was going to say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. This shit's not happening. I'd actually recommend this Tech Vegeta right here, this Super Anniversary. The one that could go into Vegito, but you don't. You go with Vegeta, you pop the Patara, you keep his ass in slot 2 or 3, or slot 1. It doesn't matter what position you put him in. I would say slot 2 or 3 because you have slot 1 options on this team in the Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta. He's just going to be a smarter, stronger, better tank in slot 1, right? With the active skill, the guard, the damage reduction, right? The dodge potential. I mean, like I said, you could pop the Super Vegito active skill with the Blue Goku, and you could dodge this in Omega if you want. I didn't go that route because that route is just, it's not as safe. I feel like, I mean, if I could just outright tank the Super, I'd rather just outright live than bank on dodging, right? Because we did die that way. In one of the videos, I tried to show y'all like Blue Goku can dodge in Omega's, you know, phase. And by me doing that, we ended up dodging all the normals, but then he did the super, and then we died to the 1 super, right? And that was just annoying, right? So, you know, even though you do have the ability to dodge, nullify, it's just smarter to still pop Vegeta's active skill, right? Even though this event is meant for you to probably use Blue Goku Super Vegito active skill, you still just use Vegeta's active skill, bro. Like, yeah, it's going to be a while before we need to rely on, you know, Blue Goku's active skill, right? Instead of Blue Vegeta's active skill. But Gogeta, he did have his use, right? He didn't get super attacked once this entire fight. But, I mean, in his video, when I did him, we definitely did get supered, and it was 795k he took from this guy. He did live, albeit, but still, that says a lot, right? He's not anywhere close to the unit you want to bring in this event, right? Because he's not really providing the defensive utilities that you need, right? And on top of all of that, he's not Ki Blast. He's not going to Ki Blast Super Omega, right? Nullify, right? So that's the difference. That's how you beat this event. I mean, hopefully I did a pretty good analysis and breakdown of this fight. I love y'all, and I'll catch you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It'll help out.